Okay, here we are at Nearfest. It's May 2023. No one thought we'd ever actually live this long. I got licensed when I was 14. I don't want to tell you how old I am, but I'm closer to 80 than I am to 70. And there are a lot of people here. You're going to see some decent interviews with some nice fellows, and we'll take a look at some equipment that's here. The weather today is pretty good. Temperature is about 42 degrees. And I normally would wear a coat right now, but I wanted you to see my shirt. And so that's why I'm not wearing a coat. But if I was in Alaska and I lived in the Arctic, I wouldn't walk around like this with the temperatures at 41 or 42 degrees. But we're expecting a pretty good day. And hopefully you got off your butt and came down to Nearfest, because a lot of hams, particularly those that are, that are contesters, sit in a little room and go, seek your contest, and they're doing seek, and they lie with signal reports, but hopefully they're down here and alive and active. The gentleman that's holding the camera for me, he's selling a lot of equipment, so you will see him in an interview. And Skip, who usually holds my camera, he is here today. He's doing great too. So let's take a look at Nearfest and hope you enjoy it. Okay, your name and call?
My call sign is K1DNC, and my name is David V. Walco.
K1DNC, that call sounds awfully familiar. In any event, I see you restore Rangers, and you have one here, priced at $900, which is pretty good considering what you've done. Tell me what you've done to it.
I did a full complete rebuild on this. I changed all the original electronics into new versions of the electronics. I've changed out the original tubes. I put the new PTT push-to-talks in. Also have the listing of what I have done in the electronics modes. I changed out the 16, 14 modular tubes to 6 LGCs. Set the plate currents to 80 milliamps, 220 volts with final load at 230.
What's the advantage of changing it to the 6L6?
Runs more efficient, and your wattage will hold more current and will be consistent on a load compared to the original tubes that they put in.
And it looks like you repaint. What's involved in repainting something like this?
When you go to redo these, what you need to do is take them down to bare metal. Okay, and then you want to put in a red 550 oxide is what I put on them first, and then I resand it back down to the bare metal, and I soak it in what they call metal enhancer fluid.
Okay.
And it takes all the contaminants out of it, and then what I do is I soak it back down. I let it soak for 48 hours. Then I will sand it off. Then I will primer it 5 to 6 times until I get all the grain that's out of it until it's smooth. And then I'll start with the paint. And then I'll paint it once, I'll sand it down, I'll paint it again, I'll do that process 3 times over. Once I get to the 3rd time, it'll go back down, it'll go back on a 0 microfiber brush, and it'll be buffed out with one of these, and then it'll be cleared and blown, and then I will coat it.
How many hours are involved in all this?
Well, this took 1 year and 7 months to do.
Okay.
Just with the restore of the cabinet itself was about 4 months.
So when you sell it for $900, are you actually making any money on it?
Well,
when you consider all your time?
Not exactly, but it's better to have somebody use it more, where I can move on to another one. Which I'm doing right now.
How many of these have you done?
3.
3. Okay, I'm going to just take a look. If I can step around you.
Sure.
I'm just going to take a look at the back here. And So do you test them for power output as well?
Power up, yes.
Okay. So what should the power output be?
Power output normally, you know, they'll go between 30 to 45 watts. This one will do 40 watts. It will peak at different parts of the end points to the band at about 45, but normally I'll get 40 watts continuous.
And do you sell them just here or on eBay or?
I just sell them here. It's just a hobby off to the side.
Okay.
They'll sit for some time, and if I get the itch to maybe go on to another project, I'll put one up. But it's hard to part with them.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Jim Cessna, KB8N,
And where are you from?
Youngstown, Ohio.
And how long was the drive here?
12 hours
And where did you stay?
in Manchester.
So you made the full 12-hour drive in one day.
I did, and stopped at the league on the way.
Okay. And we'll get back to that in a minute. Why did you come?
I got a lot of stuff to
sell.
Yeah, I'm purging.
Okay. What do you have to sell?
A trailer full. A lot of older gear, receivers. I got a couple transmitters. I got some current transmitters. I got transceivers.
Any vintage?
I have a lot of vintage stuff, yeah.
Okay. I'll talk to you about that in a minute. Okay. And your name and call?
Okay, I'm Brutus, KW1KW, Granville, New York, in the wintertime. Dorset, Vermont in the summer.
Okay.
And I drove over yesterday afternoon, stayed at a Comfort Inn in Concord, New Hampshire, and got over here thinking this place opened at like 7.
Yeah.
Find out it opens at 9.
9. Yeah, that's and they're pretty strict out of it. I tried to buy something in there, and some guy yelled at me. He said, "You can't buy anything until after 9 o'clock." And I said, "Okay, yell at some more clouds." But
well, I made a wrong turn, and I guess I'm going to be quite famous because I came in the wrong way.
but you didn't get in. You wound up here again.
Yeah, just call me Wrong Way Brutus.
Okay. And you're from Ohio. You said you stopped at W1AW. What did you do at W1AW?
Actually, I was coming across 84 and seeing Newington, Googled it, and just had to stop. I was too close. I was 6 miles away.
Did you operate W1AW?
No, but I got a little bit of a tour. It was really neat. Very, very, very friendly. Very friendly.
My daughter operated it when she was 8, and they made her fill out QSO cards for everyone she worked.
Really?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that was interesting.
It was a neat experience.
What bands do you operate?
Okay, I'm mainly 75 meters and social nets in the morning.
Sideband?
And mostly sideband, except for AM on the weekend mornings.
Oh, you go on that net in the that they have
Yeah, the
lonesome lonely guys, right?
Saturday morning.
You familiar with that guy in Rhode Island that never shuts the hell up? He just talks and talks and talks. The guy will go for a 14-minute transmission. That's. But Steve, who runs that, does a very good job. What bands do you operate on?
First of all, I'm a DXer.
Okay.
So, my favorite bands are 4080 and 160.
Do you ever call CQDX?
No.
Good boy. I hate people who call I can't stand people who call CQDX. So when I hear someone call CQDX, I feel like saying, you don't want to talk to any Americans? Would you ever go into a park?
Well, first of all, Youngstown, Ohio is not the rarest
right,
DX
it isn't,
spot.
right. But I feel like saying to them, would you ever go into a party and say, I only want to talk to people who are not from the U.S.? But,
yeah.
You two are very interesting fellows, and I think I actually recorded it this time.
Okay,
so thank you very much. Your name and call?
Peter Chase, and my call is N1JHF.
And where are you from?
I live in Hooksett, New Hampshire.
Oh, you're pretty close.
Pretty close. About half an hour.
How long did it take you to get here?
About half an hour.
And what time did you get here this morning?
Too early, about 4 o'clock.
Yeah, I left my home. I live on Cape Cod. I left my home at 5. And a little bit of Boston traffic, but not too bad. Are you going to be here both days?
Yes. Yep, staying overnight tonight.
Here on the grounds?
Right here.
And are you selling anything?
Yeah, I got a few things I brought, but mostly I'm looking for treasures and trinkets.
Okay, what have you brought?
Oh, I got a couple of radios. I have a couple of nice receivers. a few totes full of manuals, Heathkit manuals, and different Kenwood, Nikon.
Why did you come so early?
I've been coming here for as long as they've been having it, and I'm always here early. I like to get my spot up on the hill. It's chaotic when a gate opens. I mean,
It is.
everybody's got their foot on the gas, and
Yep.
they're not looking where they're going. But I pretty much know the area that I want to. Right up by the restaurant, between that and the restaurants, because everybody goes there.
Yeah, my daughter was, me and my daughter were here 31 years ago. She was 33 years ago. She was 8, and she got her license, and she bought an HW1, and the guy wanted $100. And my daughter, 8 years old, she said, "I'll give you 75." And they went back and forth at this for a while. And after a while, I said to the guy, "You realize you're arguing with an 8-year-old?"
Right.
And he finally gave it to her for $75. So I have a long. How long is your history? When was the first time you were here?
Oh my God.
See, this goes back.
This is like, I think somebody told me this morning, this is the 17th year
Of
the
this.
17th show
Right.
here in Deerfield as Nearfest. And then, of course, before Nearfest, there was, they just called it what, Deerchester?
Yeah, Deerfield. Deerfield.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they had it switched to Rochester for a while.
Yeah, and then we went out to Keene. Did we go to
Yeah,
Keene?
we may. I don't know if it was Keene. It may have been.
Right, and way back, I understand, it started in southern.
But when were you here? When was the? Were you here in the 70s?
When I got out of the service. Yeah, I was here before then, yeah.
Okay.
But I've always come. I mean, whatever job I've had, whatever I've done, career changes, everything, I always made sure that when I started the job, I told them, now there's an event.
I'm going to turn here so that the sun's not so much in your
There's an
eye.
event twice a year, and I like to go to it, and that's my favorite thing to do, and that's what I want to do.
Your name and call?
Name is Jim, N1HTS.
And you are you're representing Nearfest here today?
I am representing Nearfest. I have the early Friday 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. parking duty for the prepaid line.
Okay, and what does the parking duty require you to do?
The parking duty requires, again, mainly for folks to be set up properly so we have a nice, smooth, and easily transition once the gates open. We have different categories. We have people walking in. We got people who buy their tickets early, prepaid. We got people who camp overnight on Thursday, and then we got people who come in just to buy their tickets today.
Oh, you have quite.
We have different lines, so we can easily take care of them.
Okay, so you have quite a variety. How many people on the Nearfest crew? How many do you have?
That I don't know.
Okay.
I just I come do my volunteer work and
And
do my thing, and
And so when you're done, do you go in and buy and sell like everybody else?
I do that. I'm part of the Billerica Amateur Radio Society Club.
Here's something funny. I was in Alaska, and they were doing an anchor station was doing a report on a story that happened in Billerica. But when they came to tell the story, they didn't call it Billerica. They called it Billerica. So that's it. What do you get on the air yourself?
I mainly get on for the major sideband contests.
Contests. I hate contests. Do you lie and give 5 nines to everybody?
Sure.
Okay.
I give out points, and I have a good time. They have a good time.
Okay, so it's a good. I can't stand contests because they interfere with everything else. But I found many contestants to be nice guys, and you look like a pretty nice guy.
Well, thank you. Again, the hobby's for everyone. You want to bounce signals off the moon or satellites. You want to do digital, whatever you want. There's a niche in the hobby, for a person.
Okay, you had a Ranger here for sale that we talked about earlier.
I had a Ranger here for sale, which
And
I
it
wasn't
was-
sure if I was going to sell it.
Well, no, you were actually, when I interviewed you, you were actually fairly sure you were going to sell it for $900.
How times makes things change.
So the guy comes along, and he offers you less than $900, correct?
Offered me less than $900.
Will you care to say what he offered?
He offered me $750.
Okay, $750. So I'm thinking that must have got you mad. Did that get you mad?
No, it didn't get me mad at all. It just made me think more. It was like, you know, $750, maybe even $900. It just isn't worth it for that price. It has to be more in my head.
So now, so it had been advertised for 900, and what happened next? You said to him,
Well, I said after that, thinking about it, I said, even for not offering for 900, it wasn't worth that. I said, you know what? It's got a lot of meaning to me. It's like, if you want to buy it, I'll sell it right now for $1,200. But we need to do the sale right now, cash in hand, because I will change my mind again.
and you sold it for substantially more than you asked for.
I made a thunderbolt grease slapper of a deal.
You're the only one I've ever seen do that here.
It's amazing, yeah.
All right, thank you. This is the second day of Nearfest, and as I looked at the people coming in, there aren't many. The weather yesterday was really good, and I'm guessing with the forecast today being rain in the afternoon or rain later, people decided that they were going to come yesterday and not come today, because as I looked at the gate, there were very few people coming in here. So I don't know how long I'm going to stay, but I'll do some pictures and walk around. But yesterday was probably one of their best days ever. I did get a chance to talk to some ARRL officials, and we talked about the dues increase. It looks like they're going to do a fairly thorough job of investigating what the dues should be and when they're going to increase them, and about how much. They have some other options, possible options of not getting the print copy and getting lower dues, or getting the print copy and getting higher dues. Possibly have some means adjustment for people who may be on a limited income. So they're looking at that. We talked a little about the Rhea situation with her as a director and how she was treated. I'll tell you, the ARRL officials I talked to were pretty angry. Another word, I can't use the word here on family video, but what she wound up doing is she wound up leaving the ARRL and going to another organization. So she abandoned the people that voted for her in the Hudson Division, even though, and because her rationale was she wasn't going to be as effective because she's been marginalized. But those people still did vote for her, and she did not decide to finish her term. So in talking to some of the AR officials, who I basically was more leaning towards Rhea's argument on it, it was a pretty dirty situation, and it's over. It is over now. So I hope you had a chance to come to Nearfest yesterday, or possibly today. You will see some interviews, or maybe you've already seen them, depends how I edit this, of some very interesting people. And Skip is holding the camera for me, K1CCS, and he's been there for me for quite a while. So these people are mad because they're blowing a horn for me to get off. So that's the end of the story.